This is your news source evening bulletin for today, Thursday, the first day of July in the year 2021. I'm Gordon Mosley. Here's what we're tracking tonight. The mother of murdered Berbice teen Isaiah Henry believes that she's about to lose another son, but this time for a crime that she is certain he did not commit. Cousins Isaiah and Joel Henry were found murdered 2 days after they were reported missing in last September. In the height of the police probe into their deaths, and on the same day that a post-mortem examination of their remains was being done, another Berbice teen, Harris Singh, was found murdered. The older brother of Isaiah Henry was charged on Tuesday, along with 3 others, for the murder of Harris Singh. During a press conference today with attorney Nigel Hughes, who is representing the Henry family, the mother of the accused said days after she complained about the lack of a proper investigation into the murder of her son Isaiah Henry, the police suddenly moved in and arrested her older son Gladstone Henry for the murder of Harris Singh. The woman told reporters this morning that the accusations and murder charge against her son have left her confused and shocked, since she is sure her son had no part to play in the murder of Harris Singh.
If they want I give up justice for my son Isaiah, I will do it just so my son come out, because if it's this, it's Guyana. I don't want to see later this when my grandchildren then will come out. I don't want to see. Be careful what I seen here now. Nobody cannot tell me otherwise. This is not going somewhere else. Because my son was at home with others' friends, and they could come and arrest him for a murder we don't know about.
Mrs. Henry explained that on the day of Harris Singh's murder, police detective Rodwell Sarabo was at her home conducting further investigations into the Henry boys' killing, and he saw the now arrested Gladstone Henry at home. She said she's puzzled as to how her son was arrested for the murder even after a police detective saw him at home on the day of Singh's murder.
Mr. Sarabo was there. He was there. So if they want I leave my son like that, I will leave him just so peacefully leave my son come out, because it's I lose a big 16-year-old son. Is I feel the pain of a mother. And there are mothers out there, father out there that mind the children, know what a parents feel. And now for come and take a next one for me, that is unfair.
According to the woman, from the onset, she made it clear that she does not want the murder of her son Isaiah Henry and his cousin Joel Henry to be politicized. But she is concerned now that the entire investigation is politically motivated at this stage.
Please, my son is not a murderer. Y'all damage his character. Please. Y'all, please, Mr. Sarabo, you know that you was there. You see my son there. Sarabo, you know the truth. Do the truth. Set my son free. You know the truth.
Meanwhile, attorney-at-law Nigel Hughes maintains that there is a serious miscarriage of justice since no investigation was conducted into the alibi received. Several witnesses who were also at today's press conference confirmed the whereabouts of Gladstone Henry on the day that Harris Singh was murdered.
So I think we all know that one of the tenets of a fair investigation, particularly into a murder that has attracted the kind of attention this has, it would necessitate an investigation of the alibi of the person who the police say is a suspect. It's basic. None of these witnesses has been investigated. None of them has been interviewed. And if all of them have confirmed Mr. Henry's presence somewhere else, then clearly the basis upon which the police feel that they have a case against him has to be measured against the statements of these persons.
Gladstone Henry, along with 3 others, were charged for the murder on Tuesday. Teenager Harris Singh was found murdered in the No. 3 village back dam as protests erupted in the village over the murder of the teen cousins Isaiah and Joel Henry. One of Harris Singh's relatives was an early suspect in the Henry boys' killing. More news coming up in just a moment.
What's our purpose? Together we rise. For our community, our customer, and our country. Our promises: strengthen our community, reliably connect our customers, innovate for all in our country. Together, we rise.
It's one of your biggest goals, getting your own home, where memories are made, where happiness lives. You may feel that home ownership or renovation is beyond your reach, but we at Republic want you to know that there's always a way. Ask us about our suite of mortgages. Let's help make your housing wishes come true. Or advise on how the equity in your existing home can finance other dreams and goals. Call or go online to learn more.
Preparing for your NGSA exams is always a challenge. The Guyana Learning Channel is here to help. You can go to YouTube using your browser or your mobile device, then search for the Guyana Learning Channel in the search bar. We're live streaming our NGSA booster videos all day and all night. If you want to study a specific subject or topic, you can go to our NGSA booster playlist. You can look at a specific subject, such as mathematics, and then look for a specific topic. Here, you can follow along with the lesson to prepare for your examination. Remember kids, study hard, and best of luck in your exams.
Sonia, you think people easy? People just really want to do their own thing. Look across the road how we building the house low. The building code say you're supposed to be 2 feet off the ground.
And when the place flood, them just be the first to complain.
But you know sometimes we that just contribute to the flooding with we behavior.
You know, boy, we just throw things in the drains and canals. We don't keep the gutters clean and dispose of garbage properly. By the way, you got an emergency kit?
Yeah, Sonia, I got me own and it got drinking water, army medicines, and for say things like band-aids, iodine, bandages.
And me own got in toothpaste, a change of underwear and clothing, toilet paper and soap.
Guyana, our country, our responsibility.
Mobil 1 is more than oil. It's many oils. It transforms at the molecular level. When cold, it's thicker than honey. When hot, it's thinner than water. Mobil 1 adapts and readapts to last longer. 16,000 kilometers between oil changes. That's your engine evolved.
Sol Guyana is the authorized distributor of Mobil lubricants.
We are legions of men standing strong, but never too proud to stoop and help someone. We must send a clear signal to all. Do right. Walk in upright ways. Knowing that's what being a man is all about. And ever aware that things will only get worse when good men do nothing. Stand strong. Be the one to live right.
Let GBTI make your dreams of owning a home a reality. Buy or build your home with us. Let us help you to completely outfit your home and make it move-in ready. Need to purchase land? We finance that too. Benefit from our 10% down payment and interest rates as low as 4.25%. Calculated on the reducing balance with up to 30 years to repay. Switch your mortgage to us and learn about benefiting from the equity in your home. Invest wisely. Apply online or call your branch to schedule an appointment. GBTI, we see Guyana through your eyes.
Welcome back. In wake of 2 U.S. congressmen expressing concern about whether the proceeds from Guyana's oil resources will be equitably distributed across the country, the government of Guyana has responded with an assurance that the proceeds and the resources will be equitably distributed to all Guyanese. Earlier this week, U.S. Congressman Albio Series and Hank Johnson issued a public call for Guyanese to benefit equally from the country's wealth and the proceeds from its oil resources. Congressman Johnson went further by encouraging the government to work closely with the opposition to build a more inclusive nation. In a response carried on state TV last night, Minister of Governance Gilda Shearer said the government is committed to the equitable distribution of the proceeds from the country's resources.
We have been saying this all the time. In fact, a manifesto of the People's Progressive Party Civic during the election campaign and in the programs we've brought out since is focusing on making sure that Guyanese benefit not only from the oil money, but from the development of our nation, the modernization and expansion of our economic base.
The government has come under some criticism from the opposition about its handling of support to various communities during the pandemic and the recent floods across the country. There has also been concern expressed about the administration's support for some local companies in the oil and gas sector. On the issue of the government and the opposition needing to work together, Teixeira said the opposition needs to first acknowledge the legitimacy of the government.
But it cannot be the rule of those who refuse to accept democracy and those who do not accept the will of the people of our country who elected the People's Progressive Party Civic. We won't be bullied. We were bullied for over 5 years. And therefore, we look forward to the APNU-AFC taking a mature political position of recognizing the PPPC as the legitimate government of our country. And then the opportunities for dialogue on a number of issues become opened.
President Irfaan Ali has also held on to that position since taking office and has refused to engage the opposition leader on various national issues. Under the Constitution of Guyana, the president is mandated to engage the opposition leader on a number of specific national issues and appointments. Well, opposition member of parliament and the leader of the Alliance for Change, Kemraj Ramjatan, has hailed the two U.S. congressmen who recently publicly urged the Guyanan government to ensure that every citizen benefits from the country's oil wealth and resources. On Wednesday, Democratic Congressman Hank Johnson issued a call for the opposition to be included in the country's decision-making. The government has refused to engage the opposition as it calls on the opposition to publicly recognize the legitimacy of the government. But during a press conference today, the AFC leader said the government ought to meet with the opposition on national issues.
Whatever it is, we do not have to go and, to the PPP arrogance and start bowing down and say, we respect you as the government of the day. By nature of the implication and that which we are by conduct doing, they are in government. So why do they not want to engage? What do we have to now go and say? That they were not installed? Well, we are not going to do that. And if that is what Irfaan Ali and Jack Deo and those guys want, we are not going to do that.
Mr. Ramjatan said the coalition believes that there were problems with the general elections last year, and as a result, there's a question mark over the head of the government. On the issue of the wealth distribution, Mr. Ramjatan said the distribution of the COVID-19 relief exposes discriminatory practices by the government.
The COVID relief went substantially to a set of their supporters and hardly to Afro-Guyanese, as I mentioned, in this pernicious racialized persecution by the PPP. And that is what I think that the congressman is getting at.
Over the last few months, the government and the opposition have been locked in arms over the president's refusal to meet with the opposition and over the opposition's decision to not recognize the government. The opposition has also repeatedly accused the government of discrimination over the manner in which the COVID-19 cash relief was distributed. Ben has fired back at the opposition leader Joe Harmon over Mr. Harmon's statement that the arrest and questioning of opposition member of parliament Annette Ferguson on a cybercrime investigation amounts to political persecution. In a statement last evening, Mr. Ben said everyone in Guyana, including the opposition members of parliament, are subject to the country's laws. He said the opposition leader of all persons should need no reminding that all persons, inclusive of members of parliament and also members of the APNU-AFC, are subject to the laws of the country and adherence to which the police force is duty-bound to enforce without fear or favor. The opposition leader, in a statement just after the arrest and release of MP Annette Ferguson yesterday, said there is clear persecution of the political opposition by the PP Civic government. According to the opposition leader, the PP Civic government's persecution of the political opposition continues with wanton disregard for the law, the Constitution, and the rights of citizens. Harmon called on all right-thinking Guyanese, local and international human rights bodies, civil society and all other democracy-loving entities to condemn what he considers the dictatorial and authoritarian acts of political persecution being meted out by the government to the opposition. In response, the Home Affairs Minister said the opposition leader's statements seems intent to continuing the efforts to shield and protect law-breaking by persons who are intent on precipitating a breakdown of law and order and undermining of democracy by initiating civil unrest. While the police has only questioned the opposition member of parliament about the cybercrime allegations, the Home Affairs Minister declared that the opposition leader's statement amounts to reckless support of Ms. Ferguson's present indiscretions. The opposition leader is of the view that the government is pushing this nation to the brink of civil unrest with what he calls its persistent and unceasing attacks on the political opposition. Ben has denied those allegations. Well, let's tell you down to the former head of the Environmental Protection Agency, Dr. Vincent Adams, today knocked the government for several changes made to the environmental permit for the ExxonMobil company. He believes all of the changes are favorable to the company, with no real benefits for Guyana. Guyana recently made changes to that environmental permit allowing Exxon to increase flaring, but paying a fee in the process. The former EPA boss, who is an executive member of the AFC, said the government's move to impose that $30 fine for every cubic feet of gas flared is inadequate, pointing out that the cost usually averages around $60 to $100. He pointed out that Guyana will not even be measuring the flaring itself, but instead will have to depend on Exxon for that information.
But here's what's even more troubling. We gave them 60 days. And if you go by the record of the Liza one, and I recall I was there, in the first 60 days, they went up as high as the maximum flaring of all the amount of gas that they produced, which is what, 90 million cubic feet a day. Let's take the Liza 2. Liza 2 is going to be doubling production, and the gas is directly proportional to the production rate. So you can take that up to, let's say, they might be flaring 200 million cubic feet a day. Multiply that by 60 days, you get into billions of cubic feet of gas.
Dr. Adams said the changes could also allow the company to cover its own tracks, while Guyana loses.
The GGMC, the DOE, the EPA, and the consultants hired by the same government, the Canadian consultants, we had no doubts whatsoever. We were in unanimity as to what it should be, and the standard we set was the US standard of 48 hours of flaring.
The former EPA director said if the government is really serious about tackling Exxon over its flaring, then it should charge the company for the approximately 14 billion cubic feet of gas that was illegally flared recently. Guyana ended the month of June with 71 COVID-19 related deaths and more than 3,100 new cases. On average, the country saw more than 100 new COVID-19 cases recorded on each of the 30 days of June. Region 4 continues to lead the country in COVID-19 deaths and new cases. Of the 4 recent deaths recorded, 3 of those persons were from Region 4. The country is also seeing more younger persons being infected and dying from the disease. In the past week alone, 3 of the COVID-19 related deaths were persons in their 30s. June is now the second deadliest month of the pandemic in Guyana, with the month of May still holding the record for most deaths and highest number of new cases. The increase in COVID-19 deaths and new cases is continuing even as the government urges persons to get vaccinated. The health minister today said the country is still a far way from herd immunity, as just 22% of the population is fully protected against COVID-19.
We are still far away from herd immunity, because for us to get to herd immunity, we are projecting that we need to be approximately about 80 to 85% of our adult population being fully immunized. As of yesterday, we're only at 22.7% of our adult population that is fully immunized. So the vaccines that we have would certainly help us to get there, but we need people to come forward and take the vaccines.
The government believes herd immunity could kick in once the vaccination rate gets up to 80%.
It's one of your biggest goals, getting your own home, where memories are made, where happiness lives. You may feel that home ownership or renovation is beyond your reach, but we at Republic want you to know that there's always a way. Ask us about our suite of mortgages. Let's help make your housing wishes come true. or advise on how the equity in your existing home can finance other dreams and goals. Call or go online to learn more.
At Sash Financial, we create strategies for strengthening business and personal finances while helping our clients to build sustainable wealth. Our financial and business consultancy services are uniquely tailored to ensure every client receives quality packages and optimal results. Our financial services include financial reporting and analysis, financial status assessment, internal audits, bookkeeping and records management, financial planning advice, tax returns. Our business advisory services are related to business plans, business startups, operational improvement, business management, document preparation, procedures development, efficient marketing. Call or WhatsApp us today for your free consultation on telephone number 592-665-6045. Sash Financial, strengthening businesses, building wealth.
What's our purpose? Together we rise. For our community, our customer, and our country. Our promises: strengthen our community, reliably connect our customers, innovate for all in our country. Together we rise.
Super 95 gasoline gives you more reasons to drive and is available at 56 service stations nationwide. For affordable price, high performance, and high mileage, choose Guyana's Super 95 gasoline.
Fuel it up and drive!
My name is Nigel Dharamlal. I'm the Minister of Local Government and Regional Development. Today I had the opportunity of getting vaccinated. I took the first dose of AstraZeneca. The process has been very seamless. As a matter of fact, I think that I was concerned first about the needle getting into me, and then I realized a mosquito bite is actually more difficult to endure than the prick of the needle. So I'd like to encourage all and sundry all across Guyana to get vaccinated. We have teams across our country. Please go out and get vaccinated. It is part of our commitment to you to ensure that your life is prolonged. COVID is serious and malicious disease, and you have to join us in this fight to eradicate COVID.
Across the region tonight, officials in St. Vincent and the Grenadines have warned people to prepare for possible evacuations. As the tiny islands hit recently by massive volcanic eruptions, prepare for potential flooding and landslides from Tropical Storm Elsa, which whirled toward the Eastern Caribbean on Thursday. Elsa is the earliest fifth named storm on record, beating out last year's Eduardo, which formed on the 6th of July, according to the Colorado State University hurricane researcher Phil Kloserback. The storm was located about 780 miles east-southeast of the Windward Islands and is expected to pass near or over portions of the Windward Islands or the southern Leeward Islands tomorrow. It had a maximum sustained winds of 40 miles per hour and was moving west at 25 miles per hour, according to the National Hurricane Center in Miami. Tropical storm warnings have been issued for Barbados, Martinique, St. Lucia, and St. Vincent and the Grenadines. A tropical storm watch was in effect for Guadeloupe and Grenada. Elsa was expected to strengthen in the upcoming days and move into the Eastern Caribbean Sea late tomorrow and tomorrow night. In neighboring Trinidad and Tobago, the Trinidad Guardian reports that June 2021 ended as Trinidad and Tobago's deadliest month for COVID-19 on record, with 352 people succumbing to the disease in the last 30 days, and the total death toll now standing at 847 in the island. Health officials continue to repeat that the country's COVID-19 numbers are decreasing, but there are questions about that decline. As of the 30th of June, 1 in 39 COVID-19 cases has lost their fight with the disease, and 1,675 people in the country has COVID-19 listed as their cause of death. The country's cases are slowly decreasing, with the latest 7-day rolling average now at 227 cases per day. COVID-19 has touched nearly every family in the country, the newspaper reports, with 1 in 39 people in Trinidad and Tobago testing positive for the disease. And finally tonight, international news. Chinese President Xi Jinping has warned that foreign powers will get their heads bashed if they attempt to bully or influence his country. He delivered a defiant speech at an event marking the centenary of the ruling Communist Party earlier today. Mr. Xi also said Beijing would not allow sanctimonious preaching, in remarks widely seen as directed at the US, the BBC reports. It comes as China faces criticism over alleged human rights abuses and its crackdown in Hong Kong. Relations between the US and China have worsened in recent times over trade, espionage, and the pandemic. The issue of Taiwan is also a major source of tension. While democratic Taiwan sees itself as a sovereign state, Beijing views the island as a breakaway province. The US, under its own laws, is required to provide Taiwan with the means to defend itself should Beijing use force to take the island back. Earlier today, the Chinese president said China maintains an unshakable commitment to unification with Taiwan. And that's your News Source Evening Bulletin for tonight. I'm Gordon Mosley, reporting and encouraging you to stay safe.